I hope that you are doing great and feeling well. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Natasha, and of course, welcome to the 10 Blessings community if you are here for the first time. Today, I just want to talk about this idea that people promote expect nothing so that you won't be disappointed. I think that is totally cowardly. It is just really it's poor thinking. The reason why I say that is because if you don't have expectations for yourself, for the people around you, for your environment, and for your performance, for the performance of your team, and even from your God, from your faith, then what will you get? What we expect is oftentimes exactly what we get. And so if you are one that lives by that thought, expect nothing, I don't expect nothing from anybody, and it doesn't matter, and I'm not expecting nothing, and I don't want nothing, you're going to end up exactly with what you are preaching, which is nothing. The Bible gives us very clear and clear-cut examples of why we should expect greatness, require greatness, and exemplify greatness. So be that example. If you go to my website, natashatbrown.com, if you search for this post, expect, require, and exemplify greatness, I have identified 4 Bible verses, and I'm going to just share the Bible verses with you. Write them down so you can refer to them later. Philippians 1:20, Proverbs 24:14, Jeremiah 29:11, and Luke 6:35. Okay, I'm going to read to you one of my favorite verses, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Okay, that's one of my favorite verses about expecting greatness, because God says it right there. He has a plan for us. He doesn't want us to just go and live this world mediocre, allowing people to treat us any old way or allowing ourselves to behave any old way. He wants us to prosper. He gives us hope, and we should take advantage of that hope and require that same hope from others. Finally, I want to talk to the people who live by this mindset, because, it's funny. I want to back up for a second. I actually came up with this, and why I wanted to talk about this in response to my weekly women's group, 10 Blessings Women's Group. And we were talking about that, and we were saying, should you expect nothing? Should you expect everything? How do you, save yourself? And why don't, the women started talking a lot about why, a lot of times they can't expect things from people. And it comes from a point of being heartbroken. And people have lied to us, mistreated us, abused us so many times. People are inconsistent in any type of thing, dating, whatever you can think of, that a lot of people have become immune, and they've become complacent and settled into getting whatever life throws their way. I really just think that you got to take control of it. You have to, and you have to really own your right to only be surrounded by the best. Okay, so in closing, how do we deal with people while expecting and requiring greatness without setting ourselves up for heartbreak? So that's the question. How do we expect greatness, require greatness from people, but not set ourselves up for heartbreak? The first thing is to remember is that God expects greatness from us. He wants us to be great, and so we should feel confident in having high standards for anybody that we allow in our life, okay? Number 2, remember that every single day we train people, you train the people in your life on how to treat you and what they can expect from you and what they can expect in general from your reactions. If you allow mediocre and poor treatment and behavior versus great and honorable and respectable behavior in your presence, that's what you'll get. I know from example. If you aren't familiar with something called the law of honor, I highly suggest you look that up. It basically states that people, you get access to any environment in life based on how well and how much you've honored, how much you've abided by that law of honor. And it also states that we should not give people access to us and our resources or our help based on their need. It should more so be on how much they honor us. If they honor, and a prime example of this, a lot of people might find themselves in very unhappy, unhealthy relationships where one person is dependent on the other. And this was, I do have some personal experiences with this. And, you might be in very disrespectful relationships. Someone might be disrespecting you, but you know that they need you. You feel like they need you, whether it's financially, for the kids, whatever it's for. And so you continue to provide. You continue to give them access. And what you're doing and what they're doing is breaking that law of honor. Once someone disrespects us, it's highly likely that they'll wake up one day and decide to show us respect, okay? So ditch them to the curb. Okay, finally, how do you expect and require greatness from people without setting yourself up from heartbreak? Remember that what you expect is often what you get. I was a cheerleader for a really, really long time. And before games, our coaches would cheer us on and they would give us words of encouragement. In return, we did that to our teammates and our players that we were cheering for. And so even though there were seasons and games where we had a bad game, we were disappointed and, we were even heartbroken sometimes, we still did not lower that bar for greatness and for great performance for a win. We knew that it would come around again, but our energy didn't falter and we didn't say, oh, it's okay, you've lost 5 games, dear basketball player. It's okay if you lose the rest of the 5 games. No, we kept continuing to say, win, you can do it, let's go. So it's all about the energy sometimes and the perspective. Remember that if you set your sights on the moon, you want to get on the moon, jump the moon, climb the moon, reach the moon, even if you miss that mark, you'll still land amongst the stars. So always expect greatness and show greatness and require people to treat you like you're great. Bye. Remember, check out my book, 10 Blessings of Betrayal, A Spiritual Journey of Rebuilding Through Tragedy. Visit me, natashatbrown.com, and I will talk to you soon.